The Chiefs have a coaching problem, and this is something that is not solely based on the outcome of yesterday's loss. This is something that has been building over the course of this entire season. The Chiefs coaching staff has had this team unprepared, lacking discipline, and showing no fight in most important games this season. They don't have that it factor. They don't have that ability to show up for big games, and that falls at the feet of head coach Andy Reid. And so we're going to talk about some of the issues that I have with the Chiefs coaching staff, the philosophy, the game plans. But I want to preface this video by saying that even though I'm going to be critical of this Chiefs coaching staff, nobody should be fired. I know that there's a huge portion of fans out there that want Matt Nagy fired, that want Andy Reid to retire, that want Steve Spagnuolo gone. That is stupid. That is absolute stupidity at its finest. Those guys need to be here because we've been to 5 out of the last 6 Super Bowls, and they've won 3 of them. And so I understand that it's frustrating to be 5-5, and you're not going to win the AFC West, but the Chiefs still have a chance to go to the playoffs. And so you're not firing anybody. This is the exact coaching staff that is going to be here until the Chiefs either get eliminated from playoff contention or get eliminated from the playoffs. So get rid of that notion right now. But when we just look at this coaching staff, and specifically starting with head coach Andy Reid, Andy Reid has not had this team prepared for these games. And I want to first talk about the play calling, because yesterday, when the Chiefs had the ball 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, they failed to run the football. They put the ball in Patrick Mahomes' hands against one of the best defensive lines in football and said, guess what, Pat? You need to go make a play. Instead of just handing the ball off to Kareem Hunt for 2 yards, all you need to gain is 1 to 2 yards to extend the play, to extend the drive. And they failed to do that. That's a coaching issue. The Chiefs' inability and unwillingness to run the football is what is going to bite them in the ass. Because if you just look at the NFL, 5 years ago, teams weren't running the football. It was a pass-happy league. It was the West Coast offense, and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes thrived. Guess what? The NFL, like it has done, over the course of its history, it has switched directions. Right now, it's all about running the football. Look at all of the good teams right now. Whether it is, a team like the Buffalo Bills with James Cook, who can run the football. The Eagles have Saquon Barkley. They beat you in a Super Bowl because they could run the football and set up play action. When the Chiefs set up play action, opposing defenses don't even blink twice about what the Chiefs are going to do. They know the Chiefs are throwing the football. An RPO is literally just a pass because there's no run option. And I think it is just so frustrating because we've got arguably the greatest player in the history of the NFL. You need to go out there and help him. Find ways to help him on offense because as he gets older, he's not going to be able to do it all himself. And when you're going up against a front that led the league in sacks going into that game with 46, you need to find a way to get them off balance because if they just pin their ears back and get after the quarterback, it's going to be a long day for Patrick Mahomes. And it was. The Chiefs' inability to run the football, more their unwillingness to run the football, is something that Andy Reid needs to look himself in the mirror and say, I need to change. Because what Andy Reid has been doing really over the last, ever since that Super Bowl, hasn't worked. The Chiefs right now are a mediocre football team. You could argue they're a bad football team. They're 5-5. And one thing that they've been talking about so much this year is we got to come out and we got to show energy. We got to show, other teams that we've got that energy, come out firing on all cylinders. The Chiefs come out flat every single week, regardless of the opponent. And in the big games, when you need to go in there and, with some juice and play up to their standard and play with energy, they don't do that. But also, they're undisciplined as hell. Andy Reid keeps saying, we got to clean it up. We got to clean the penalties up. The penalties have not been cleaned up. And part of it is because there's no accountability. They preach accountability, but Jawan Taylor, who can't line up on sides, bench him. Put Jalen Moore at right tackle and put Jawan Taylor's butt on the bench until he decides not to do that. Because right now, it's not just an accident. What Jawan Taylor's been doing at the right tackle position is purely a choice. He is choosing to line up off sides, and if he's not choosing it, then his football IQ is so low that he shouldn't even be out there. But again, I think if the Chiefs ran the ball, and I don't think that they need to be an offense that runs the ball 30 times. That's never going to happen when you have Patrick Mahomes, and it shouldn't happen. But when you have an offensive line that's got some maulers up front, Kingsley Suamataia, Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, they love the running game. They love to get out in space. They love to throw a block out there and open up holes. And the Chiefs have not had the personnel to take advantage of that. But even if they did, because I'm seeing a lot of people saying, well, the Chiefs should have traded for Breece Hall. And I agree to a certain extent. But at the same time, I think we'd see Breece Hall have the same impact because the Chiefs, and specifically Andy Reid, would not be running the football. I don't know what you have seen over the last decade that would lead you to believe that Andy Reid is magically going to wake up tomorrow and start running the football. And other teams don't fear you or respect you. Other teams' defenses know exactly what the Chiefs are going to do at all times. It's either going to be a screen pass, it's going to be an RPO, which is a pass. It's just going to end up being something so predictable that the offense has become stale. The offense is stagnant, and it's because Andy Reid, even though I don't think he has gotten worse, I think he has gotten worse by not catching up and continuing to develop his game plans and change with the times. The times are different. And a lot of people are saying this is kind of how his coaching career in Philly ended. I'm not at that point. Again, 5-5. They've still got a chance to make the playoffs. I'm frustrated with the play calling. I think he has done a horrible job in a lot of moments this year. Even when they're throwing the football, they're throwing screen passes to Travis Kelce, who's 36 years old. They failed to utilize Xavier Worthy properly. Tyquan Thornton might be the second best wide receiver in this offense. He makes one good play, and he's on the bench. Juju Smith-Schuster's out there specifically as a blocking receiver. When Juju Smith-Schuster's on the field, you know you're going to see a screen pass. And so it's like, if I'm sitting on my couch saying, oh, this is going to happen, the guys that watch film, the guys that get paid to do this for a living, they're going to sniff that out. And so far this season, they just haven't made the big-time plays when it matters. And I said that yesterday in my post-game show. The Chiefs are no longer the team that make those game-winning plays in clutch moments. They just don't do that. And, man, I think it is incredibly frustrating. And honestly, one of my bullet points in my notes, it's coaching hubris. Andy Reid has exemplified a lot of coaching hubris this year, and he's got to get over that. He's got to find a way to kill that ego and do something that maybe he doesn't want to do because it's going to help this team. Kareem Hunt, even though he's older, he's not a bad player. Isaiah Pacheco, for all of my complaints about him, he gives you at least something. You have to try. That's my biggest complaint. If you try and it doesn't work, oh well. You tried something different. You tried to make it easier for Patrick Mahomes to throw the ball downfield because you tried to establish the run. The Chiefs have not tried to establish the run since 2018, since prime Kareem Hunt. They haven't done that. And they've won. And I understand that. They've won 3 Super Bowls out of the last 6. But at a certain point, the Chiefs want to continue to sustain this dynasty. And I think they're a good football team. I really do. I think the Chiefs are a much better football team than most people around the NFL would probably look at a 5-5 team and say. I think they're still the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl. That's probably a little bit stupid, but the Chiefs are not a horrible football team. They're just not a good football team right now. And I believe that most of that is on Andy Reid's shoulders. And I want to talk more about Matt Nagy and Steve Spagnuolo, and we'll do that right after a word from our fantastic sponsors. This video is sponsored by my friends over at DM Injury Law. Injured in an accident, you could be entitled to significant compensation, but time is critical. Rely on the experienced personal injury attorneys at DM Law, Kansas City and Missouri's top injury law firm. DM Law is a full-service personal injury practice supported by a large team of investigators, case managers, medical records specialists, and more. And best of all, you don't pay unless they win. DM Law operates on a contingency fee basis, meaning no fees unless they win your case. And they also provide free consultations. So if you've been injured, don't wait. You can contact DM Law today for a free consultation and learn how they can help you pursue the compensation you deserve. Let them handle the fight while you focus on healing. Hurt in a car wreck? Call Mike. Remember, Mike's got this. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement. Thanks to DM Injury Law for sponsoring this video. The Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway is the place to be. With over 1,500 slot machines, 35 table games, 4 restaurants, and an ESPN Bet sportsbook, there are plenty of ways to find your fun. For more chances to win, follow their Facebook, Instagram, and X. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Huge thanks to the sponsors that have supported me and this channel all football season long. Now, when talking about Steve Spagnuolo, the only point that I want to bring up is on that 3rd and 15 play against Denver. Chris Jones was talking about it in the postgame presser. He was basically like Bo Nix and that offensive line knew exactly what the Chiefs were trying to do with rushing with 3 guys and having Leo Chenal spy. The Chiefs' defense was very predictable in that moment, and it's no surprise that Bo Nix completed a pass to Courtland Sutton on 3rd and 15, and I know it didn't end the game. In my mind, that ended the game because then you practically just put them in field goal position where all they had to do was milk the clock and they could, run the ball and pretty much try a very manageable field goal. So the fact that Chris Jones was basically like, yeah, they watched film and they saw exactly what we had planned, that's on Spags. That's on the defensive coordinator to come up with some new looks. Why Steve Spagnuolo is not blitzing Bo Nix on 3rd and 15, I will never understand. Bo Nix is not someone that thrives under pressure. You didn't hit him. You did not hit him enough in this game, and you saw that aggressiveness on the very first play of the game where Chamari Connor had a sack. They blitzed. Why didn't we go back to that? Like, you had a chance to crush Bo Nix when it truly mattered, and it felt like whether it was Andy Reid slowing up on the offensive game plan or it was Steve Spagnuolo having horrible coaching decisions like not blitzing Bo Nix, not playing your 3rd round pick Noah Williams, instead playing Christian Fulton, who didn't play a ton, but what are we doing? It's these type of head-scratching moves that just make me wonder, okay, if these things are different, let's say the Chiefs, when they had the ball with 4 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, let's say they got a first down. Let's say they tried to run the ball and, milk the clock. Maybe they get a first down, and maybe that completely changes things. But we'll never know because the Chiefs went 3 and out because they went pass, pass, pass. The Chiefs wanted to throw the football, and Patrick Mahomes got sacked, and they never touched the ball again on offense. So that's when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And Andy Reid has been playing a lot of stupid games. And I think my final point on Andy Reid is it feels like what made him great, what made Andy Reid the offensive mastermind, the genius, is that he found a way to innovate the game, come up with new creative plays. What have the Chiefs done that is creative this season? I mean, what have the Chiefs done that's innovative? What have the Chiefs done that makes you think, oh, well, they were working on this offseason, and they actually came into this season with a couple new things and a new wrinkle? We have seen no new wrinkles. We've seen no creativity. It has been the same flat, boring stuff each and every single week, and it's so fitting that Andy Reid's game plan is flat, so the players are coming out flat, and they're not winning. And we gave him so much credit last year for winning all those one-score games. This year, you're 0-5 in one-score games. find a way to get it done. And if you don't, the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs. So that's a frustrating pill to swallow, but this coaching staff has not been good enough this year. They've been having these guys play undisciplined football, and again, a lot of the execution errors always fall on the players. But I'm looking at guys like Xavier Worthy. I'm looking at guys like Kareem Hunt and Brashard Smith. Why are you not using those guys? Elijah Mitchell was someone like, you have him on the roster. Why is he inactive every single week? And of course, the 1 week that he is active, Patrick Mahomes tries to find him in the end zone and throws a pick. So, I mean, it's just fitting, I guess. But I do have a lot of complaints with this coaching staff. I think they have to be better going forward. Every game from this point out is a must-win game. You can afford to lose maybe one more game. It's because everybody ahead of you has the tiebreaker. You have lost so many games this season to teams that are ahead of you in the playoff standings that it could be the difference between competing in January or sitting on your couch. And I think we all want the Chiefs to make the playoffs, but right now, the coaching staff is holding this team back. But drop your take down in the comment section below. My final point, I guess, is that anybody saying that Matt Nagy needs to be fired, maybe you can get rid of him after this season and bring some new life in, bring a new voice in. Matt Nagy doesn't do anything. He does as much to the Chiefs offense as we do. He doesn't call the plays. This is Andy Reid's show. And so all the criticism about how bad the Chiefs offense has been, that's Andy Reid's fault, not Matt Nagy's. But drop your take down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, subscribe for more daily Chiefs content. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching this video. And as always, go Chiefs.